Jenna Morris awoke to the shrill sound of the alarm. Her still sleepy eyes scanned the simple and organized room. Unlike many of her architect colleagues, her home was not a manifesto of contemporary design, but a tranquil and functional refuge that reflected her practical personality. Sitting on the edge of the bed, she ran her hands through her disheveled brown hair. Jenna never cared much about appearances. Since childhood, she preferred running through the fields with the boys to participating in the delicate games of the girls. Her knees always displayed scratches, her hands were firm, and her smile, though rare, genuinely brightened her face when it appeared. "First day at the new office," she murmured to herself, feeling a mix of anxiety and anticipation. This would be her chance to start fresh, where no one knew her as Carol's sister. Carol, her sister 2 years younger, was the complete opposite of Jenna. While Jenna was reserved and awkward, Carol was graceful, outgoing, and naturally charming. Since kindergarten, Carol stood out in school recitals with her melodious voice that silenced entire audiences. It was as if she had been born under the spotlight, while Jenna preferred the quiet solitude of her drawing board. There were times when Jenna resented this dynamic. As teenagers, it was common for boys to approach her just to get Carol's phone number. Once a boy Jenna secretly had a crush on invited her to a party. Her heart raced at the possibility, only to discover upon arriving at the event that the real reason for the invitation was to introduce him to her sister. Despite these painful experiences, Jenna loved Carol deeply. It wasn't her fault she was so naturally captivating. Over time, the sisters developed a solid relationship based on mutual respect. Carol admired Jenna's intelligence and determination, while Jenna was proud of her sister's talent and kindness. Now, at 28 years old, Jenna was preparing for this new chapter. Carol had become a nationally recognized singer, with millions of followers on social media and sold-out shows across the country. Jenna, on the other hand, was quietly building her career as an architect, specializing in sustainable projects. On her first day at the prestigious Greenfield Architects office, Jenna opted for a simple look: jeans, a white blouse, and a dark green blazer. Her only accessories were a wristwatch, inherited from her grandfather, and small silver earrings. She never felt comfortable with elaborate makeup or complicated hairstyles. Upon arriving at the office, she was greeted by the project manager who introduced her to the team. As she greeted her new colleagues, a young man with expressive brown eyes and a kind smile approached. "David," he introduced himself, extending his hand. "Welcome to the organized chaos we call an office." There was something immediately comforting about David. Maybe it was his genuine smile or the unassuming way he spoke, but Jenna felt an instant connection. During lunch, they discovered they shared a love for nature trails, old science fiction movies, and obscure poetry books. "It's amazing how we've never met before, yet it feels like we've been friends for years," David commented as they shared a dessert. Jenna nodded, feeling genuinely at ease for the first time in a long while. It was rare to find someone who saw her for who she was, without the shadow of Carol's fame hanging over her. In the following weeks, the friendship between Jenna and David flourished naturally. They worked together on projects, shared lunches, and occasionally went for walks on weekends. David was attentive and kind, always valuing Jenna's opinions and admiring her talent in sustainable architecture. At home, during a video call with Carol, Jenna casually mentioned her new friend. "He is just different," she explained, unable to contain a smile. "I don't have to try to be someone when I'm with him." Carol watched her sister closely through the screen. "Your eyes light up when you talk about him, you know?" Jenna felt her cheeks heat up. "It's not like that. We're just friends." "Sure." Carol laughed gently. "Just like Miguel and I were just friends before we started dating." Jenna changed the subject, but Carol's words lingered in her mind. Could it be possible that she was developing feelings for David? The idea simultaneously excited and terrified her. Years of disappointments had taught Jenna to protect her heart. The rhythm of life continued. Jenna kept her identity as Carol's sister a secret in the office, enjoying being valued for her own merits. Her closeness with David grew every day, with small, meaningful gestures. A coffee prepared just the way she liked on difficult mornings, an encouraging note before an important presentation, a rare book he found at a second-hand store because he knew she'd been searching for it for months. Everything changed on a seemingly ordinary Sunday. Carol posted a photo on her social media celebrating their mother's birthday. In the image, the whole family was smiling around a cake, including Jenna. The caption was simple and loving. "Happy birthday to the woman who taught me to sing and love. With Mum and my amazing sister Jenna, my daily inspiration." The following Monday, Jenna noticed curious looks as soon as she entered the office. Whispers followed her through the halls, and before she could reach her desk, she was surrounded by curious colleagues. "Why have you never told us that Carol Morris is your sister? Could you get tickets for her next show? Could she record a message for my niece? It's her birthday next month." The questions continued incessantly. What hurt Jenna the most was the sudden change in treatment. People who barely noticed her presence before now wanted to be her best friends. During lunch, she sat with David, sighing deeply. "And you, David? What do you want me to arrange with my sister?" she asked bitterly. David looked at her with a puzzled expression. "Me? Nothing," he replied simply, as if the question was absurd. "I'm more interested in knowing if you'll help me with the community center project. Your ideas for the vertical garden are exactly what we need." The relief Jenna felt was immense. As David continued to talk about the project, she watched him with new eyes. Could it be that Carol was right about his feelings? With Jenna's birthday approaching, her mother insisted on organizing a small family celebration. After much hesitation, Jenna decided to invite David, her only co-worker who would be invited. The idea of having him in a more personal setting made her nervous but also excited. The party was simple and cozy, held in her mother's backyard. David brought a carefully wrapped gift, a set of high-quality imported pencils for architectural drawing and an antique book on vernacular architecture, exactly the kind of present that showed how well he knew her. To Jenna's surprise, David integrated perfectly with her family. He talked about classical music with her father, exchanged vegetarian recipes with her mother, and even forged a genuine connection with Carol, discussing the acoustics of different concert halls. "Your friend is charming," her mother commented when David went to the bathroom. "And the way he looks at you." "Mom, please," Jenna protested, though her heart raced. Carol smiled discreetly but didn't say anything. She just gently squeezed her sister's hand. Returning to the office the next day brought a wave of gossip. The news that David had been the only guest invited to Jenna's birthday party spread quickly. "He's clever," Jenna heard a colleague comment in the break room. "Pretending to be interested in the boring sister to get to the famous one." The words hurt more than Jenna wanted to admit. It was as if she was reliving her past when people approached her just to get to Carol. Later, in the women's restroom, two colleagues entered without noticing Jenna's presence in one of the stalls. "David is the clever one," said a voice Jenna identified as belonging to a colleague from the marketing department. "He befriended Jenna, now he attends family events and stays close to Carol." "Did you see the photos? Carol is stunning in person too. Who wouldn't do the same in his place? Endure the ugly sister to get close to the beauty," replied the other. Jenna remained still, feeling her stomach drop. The insecurities she had harbored for years came rushing to the surface with full force. Of course, David wouldn't be genuinely interested in her when Carol was in the same room. No one ever was. That same afternoon, David asked to speak with her in private. He took her to the building's terrace, a place rarely visited by the other employees. The sky was painted with orange hues from the sunset, and a gentle breeze blew between them. "Jenna, there's something I need to tell you," he began, visibly nervous. "In the past few months, since you arrived at the office, David, you don't need to," Jenna interrupted him, crossing her arms defensively. "I've heard people talking. I know what's going on." David seemed confused. "What did you hear?" "You approached me to get to Carol," she replied, trying to keep her voice steady despite the pain she felt. "And that's okay. It wouldn't be the first time." David's expression shifted from confusion to disbelief, and then to deep hurt. "Is that what you think of me? That I pretended to be a friend for months just to meet your sister?" "It wouldn't be the first time someone did that," Jenna repeated, quieter this time, avoiding his eyes. "Jenna, look at me," David requested, his voice gentle but firm. When she finally looked at him, he continued, "I came here to say that I'm in love with you. Not your sister, not the possibility of meeting a celebrity, but you, the intelligent, talented, and authentic woman I spend my days with." Jenna's heart wanted to believe him, but years of disappointments had built high walls around it. "How can I be sure?" "You can't, not completely," David admitted, "but I hope you'll give me the chance to prove every day that it's you I see." Despite the sincere words, Jenna couldn't overcome her insecurities at that moment. "I need time, David. Sorry." In the following weeks, Jenna kept an emotional distance from David, although they continued to work together professionally. He respected her space, but Jenna often caught him looking in her direction with an expression of silent determination. Carol noticed the change in her sister's behavior during their conversations, and Jenna eventually confessed what had happened. "Do you really think he would be interested in me because of you?" Jenna asked, her vulnerability evident. Carol sighed. "Jenna, you underestimate yourself so much. You've always been the stronger one of us two, the smartest. You just don't realize your own brilliance." The date of Carol's new show premiere was approaching, a much-anticipated event in the music world. As always, Jenna would be there to support her sister, sitting discreetly in the front rows. What Jenna didn't know was that David and Carol had been exchanging messages over the past few weeks, devising a daring plan. On the night of the show, the venue was completely packed. Carol dazzled the audience with her powerful voice and magnetic stage presence. After the sixth song, she paused, and the stage lights dimmed. "This night is special to me for many reasons," Carol spoke into the microphone, her voice echoing through the arena. "But I want to share something very personal with you. It's not every day that we witness a declaration of love." To Jenna's complete astonishment, David appeared on stage, walking nervously to the center where Carol handed him the microphone. "Jenna," he began, his trembling voice echoing through the now silent place. "When I met you, I had no idea who your family was or who your sister was. What captivated me was your quiet passion for your work, your rare smile that lights up everything around you, your intelligence that never needs to announce itself." The entire arena was in absolute silence as David continued. "In the past weeks, I have been trying to find a way to prove that it is you I see. Not someone's sister, but Jenna Morris, the woman who designs buildings that respect nature, who laughs at my bad jokes, who prefers trails over parties, and who carries more courage in her heart than she realizes." Tears began to stream down Jenna's face as he continued. "For me, you were never invisible. You have always been the brightest star, the one that doesn't need spotlights to shine. You are beautiful, and if you give me a chance, I will spend every day trying to make you see yourself through my eyes. Extraordinary, irreplaceable, and deeply loved." A security guard gently invited Jenna to step onto the stage. With trembling legs, she walked to where David and Carol were waiting. Her sister gave her a brief hug before stepping aside, leaving the two of them face to face. "Did you set all this up for me?" Jenna asked, hardly believing the grandeur of the gesture. "Actually, it was your sister's idea," admitted David with a shy smile. "I thought it would be too much, but she insisted that you deserved something extraordinary." "But why? Why me?" "Because with you, I don't need to pretend, I don't need to impress. I can simply be myself, just as you are authentically you, and that authenticity is the rarest and most precious thing I've ever found. In that moment, in front of thousands of people, Jenna finally allowed herself to believe, not just in David's words but in her own worth. She smiled, a genuine and radiant smile that lit up her entire face, and took a step towards him. When their lips met, the arena erupted in applause. Carol, with tears in her eyes, began to sing a romantic ballad, creating the perfect soundtrack for the moment. Later that night, as they walked hand in hand under the stars, Jenna looked at David and felt a quiet certainty settle in her heart. For the first time, she was not someone's shadow but a light in her own right, a light reflected and amplified in the eyes of someone who truly saw her. "Thank you for not giving up on me," she whispered. David gently squeezed her hand. "Some people are worth waiting for, Jenna Morris. And you? You are worth every second." If you enjoyed the story, please leave a comment with a rating from 1 to 5 to show how much you liked it. Also, watch the video that is now appearing on your screen. See you soon.